Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Juliana Mesa, and I'm a CGIS advisor, and specifically for the Spanish language programs, which we will be talking about today. So let's dive in. We have four programs that are pre-approved by the Romance Languages and Literatures Department for students to complete their Spanish major minor requirements abroad. These programs are in Spain, in Granada and Madrid, Spain specifically, and there's also two programs in Latin America, one in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and the other one in Santiago de Chile. If you signed up for this session, you will be receiving this presentation and you'll have access to these links. However, if you're just seeing this recording, you can go to the CGIS website, go to undergraduate students, then check the Explore CGIS program section. By major, go to Romance languages, and once you're there, select the Spanish accordion, and you'll be able to access the links that will bring you to the mCampus brochure, which is where you will find all the information about the programs and also where you will be able to get your application started. So some program details, some general details. Out of these programs, one of them is a customized program, that is the Advanced Language and Culture program in Granada. The reason why we consider this a customized program is because students are going abroad with a UN faculty member. The UN faculty member is teaching two courses. Depending on the number of students going on the program, you may be able to take both courses, or you would only be able to take one of them. All the other programs are provider-led. That means that they're fully administered by a third party, and there's no customized aspect to them. And I'll be talking more about those details in a moment. For the prerequisite, on most of these programs, so the Advanced Language and Culture programs in Spain, both in Granada and Madrid, and for the program in Buenos Aires, the requirement is for you to have taken Spanish 277 and 278, or any of the equivalents like RC Lang 324, prior to the program start date. So for example, if you're going to be taking Spanish 277 or an equivalent in fall 2024, you're still eligible to apply for the program. I would still recommend you to talk to me, like schedule an appointment with me, and also to your Spanish faculty advisor, so you can decide if going in the winter would be a better time or maybe waiting until fall 2025. For liberal arts in Chile, most of the classes on that program are direct enroll at a local university, so it has a higher prerequisite. In that case, you need to have taken two 300 level Spanish courses. So please have that in mind if you decide to apply to that program. So let's get started first with Advanced Language and Culture in Granada. This is a great program that students have liked a lot. It gives you a similar sense to what you have here in Ann Arbor. It's a smaller city. You will have a UN faculty member going with you. So it provides you that kind of experience. Also helps you with having a good transition with taking classes with a UN faculty member, as well as doing classes with local professors. In this case, the young faculty member teaching the classes abroad is going to be Professor Gareth Williams. He will be teaching two 400 level literature courses, that is the Spanish Civil War and its legacies, and conditions of crisis in contemporary Mexico. This program is only taught in the winter, so please take that into consideration in case you prefer to wait until the fall. Then in this case, you will only see this program winter 2025, or it will be offered again winter 2026. As I mentioned earlier, there's providers for all the programs. So in this case, the provider for this program, even though it is customized, is IES Abroad. They will be teaching you some of the courses, and in the next slide, I will be showing you the breakdown of the courses. But they will also be in charge of things like logistics, cultural activities, and excursions. On this program, students take a total of 16 credits and have the option of choosing between a homestay or a residence hall for your housing option. For the homestay, you have 2 meals included every day, and for the residence hall, most of the meals throughout the week, 3 meals per day throughout the week. So about 18 to 21 meals will be included for you. It is important to note, and I should have said that in my previous slide, that for all these programs, you will be only able to take Spanish courses. So English taught courses, bilingual courses, or courses taught in a different language are not an option. You also have the option of taking classes at a local university or doing an internship. One of them is required. You have to do a local immersion course. Here's a quote from one student that participated in the program in winter 2023. So the student said, "I think that this kind of smaller cohort and smaller staff has really supported me, and I'm experiencing everything that the city and the school has to offer. And I've just never felt so supported and has such a strong community." So, as I was mentioning, for the breakdown of this program, students have to take 16 credits. The reason why it is 16 and not 15 is because you're doing a 4-credit course for a total of 5 courses. So this is the Spanish language class. You will have to take a placement exam, and you will be placed in one of the classes. This is an IAS course. You will also have to take at least one of the UM faculty-led courses. You may have the option of taking both of them, depending on the number of students going on the program. Each course can take up to 18 students. So the program in total can only take 36 students abroad. Then for the other courses, usually the other 2 or maybe one of them is the area study courses. You can take classes on history, culture. All of them are taught in Spanish. And you will be able to find the list if you go to the mCompass brochure, or if you have this presentation, you can see the list of class offerings. Just make sure that you're checking the ones that say that the instruction is in Spanish. You cannot take the English courses. On this program, you also, as I mentioned earlier, have to take a local immersion course that can either be a class at the local university, Universidad de Granada, or an internship. This local immersion course is at the 400 level, same as the UM courses. The Spanish language class is at the 300 level. So if you've taken most of your 300 level, making sure that you reserve at least one of them for the winter will be a good idea. And then for the area study courses, there's a first selection of 300 and 400 level courses. This program also has an earlier deadline, so you'll see that the deadline for this program is August 5th. Please make sure to apply by this deadline. This means that you have to submit everything, including the Spanish language recommendation, by this date. If it is not submitted by this date, we will not review your application. So here's another quote from a winter 2023 student saying that many of our classes incorporated field trips. Even just spending time around Granada, this really brought the content we were learning to life, and I retained more information. Okay, so now let's move on to the next program. We have Advanced Language and Culture in Madrid. This is a program that works really well for students that like to live in a larger city. Madrid is about the size of Chicago, so please have that in mind. You're not going to a small city and there's long commutes and everything that all the implications of being in a larger city. So take that into consideration in your decision making. This program is offered in the fall, winter, and academic year. So you have several options. So even if you don't want to go or cannot go in winter 2025, you can apply for another term later on. On this program is offered by our provider IAS. The big difference between this one and Granada is that this one is not customized, so you do not have a UM faculty member going abroad with you. For this program, you have to submit 2 applications. So there's the mCompass application, which is the links that I was talking about earlier. And the second application is on the provider's portal, so IAS Abroad. There's 2 parts to the application, and each one takes 1 to 2 weeks to be reviewed and approved. So you would need to start your application at least 1 month prior to the CGS deadline. The CGS deadline for this program is also August 5th. So please make sure to start your application no later than July 5th. On this program, very similar breakdown to the one in Granada. You take 16 credits, which is equivalent to 5 courses. There is an IAS Spanish language course at 4 credits at the 300 level. This course you will be placed into it after you take a placement exam. There is the IAS area study courses that are offered by the provider. There's a selection of the 300 and 400 level, and then there's the local immersion course. In this case, the local university is Universidad Complutense de Madrid, or you can also do an internship. The internship is connected to a seminar in order for you to get credit for it, and it will be at any of these options, the university course or the internship will be at the 400 level. One big difference also between Madrid and Granada is that besides homestay and residence hall, you do have the option of an apartment or living in an apartment in Madrid. So for students, for example, who are vegan, vegetarian, or have allergies and prefer to cook their own meals, this may be a better option for you. Just remember that the commutes can be long, especially if you're doing an internship, you may have to do 1-hour commutes to your internship. The instruction is only in Spanish, and here are just some courses that have been offered before. So Women in Spanish History, Spain and the European Union, International Security and Geopolitics, History of Spanish Architecture. And again, you can see the other courses by going to the mCompass brochure. You can find the links there, or if you have this presentation, going to this link. So then our next stop is, we're going from Spain, now traveling to South America. This next program is Advanced Spanish Language in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This program is also offered in the fall and winter, so it could be winter 2025, or if you're applying later for fall 2025. It is offered by IBSA Butler, that is the provider for this program. And on this program, students take 15 to 18 credits. That is usually equivalent to about 5 to 6 courses, depending on the local university classes that you end up taking. So for this program, students have to do at least one class with IBSA. Most of the course offerings or classes that are offered by IBSA are at the 300 level. So if you've only taken 277, for example, it will be advised that you do most of your classes with IBSA and maybe do only one course at the local university. For the local university courses, there's 3 options available. So Universidad del Salvador, or Universidad Torcuato Di Tella, and then Universidad de Buenos Aires. So you can take classes at any of these universities. I do want to point out that the credits at each university vary a little bit. The only university that offers three credit courses is Universidad del Salvador. But yeah, for those details, you can schedule an appointment with me and we can go more dive a little bit deeper into how it works. On this program, the housing available is homestay. Instruction is only in Spanish. As I mentioned at the very beginning, all of these programs are taught in Spanish only. You do have the option of doing internships or experiential learning options, and this will be connected again to a course and you would get credit for it, usually at the 300 level on this program. I would also like to point out something important, and it's the program dates. So for Latin America, in Argentina and Chile, well, specifically for those 2 locations, their calendar year differs from that in the US. So their winter term, or what they refer to as spring term, starts a little bit later. So for winter, it goes from late February until early July. If you end up going in the fall, it is late July until mid-December. So please have this in mind, that if you're going in the winter 2025, you may need to postpone any internship plans or may not be able to take any classes, spring, summer classes at UM in the summer. Here's a highlight of classes that students have taken on this program in the past year. So there's Argentina and Human Rights, Contemporary Film and Media in Latin America, and Globalization and Economic Challenges in Latin America. A big difference as well with this program is that it has a later deadline. So applications are due on September 15. Then we have the Liberal Arts program in Santiago de Chile. This program is offered in the fall and winter and is administered by CIEE. Students get to enroll in 5 to 6 courses, that is 15 to 18 credits. You will be required to do an CIE elective course. Usually there's 1 to 3 courses to select from, and most of your courses will be direct enroll at one of the local universities, so Universidad de Chile, Pontificia Universidad Católica de Chile, Universidad Diego Postales. These will be the 3 options. Most of the students going on this program tend to be a little bit more advanced on the 300 level, so that way when you're going on the program, you will be taking most of your classes at the local university, which are at the 400 level. On this program, the housing option is homestay, and also the instruction is only in Spanish. You'll have the option of doing internships and community service. These are available. Some courses from past years have been Anthropology of Violence, Chilean Cinema, Vision of History, Mapuche Art, Culture and Aesthetics, and Political and Economic Development of Latin America. The application for liberal arts in Santiago de Chile is due on September 15. Both the MCampus and the provider application need to be submitted by the CGIS deadline, not by the provider deadline. Okay, so that was a very brief description of each program with some details. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about RLO course credit and advising. For those of you who may be aware of it, Spanish major requires you to take 10 courses, which 3 credits each. So please, if you've already taken, if you go abroad and are trying to fulfill major requirements, most of these programs allow you to take 5 to 6 courses, so you will be almost done with your major. And so please have this in mind. Also, if you're doing a minor abroad, you will be almost done with all of your requirements, 5 out of the 7 while being abroad. So it is a great opportunity to have that cultural language immersion, but also to fulfill your Spanish major or minor requirements. You do need to meet with a Spanish faculty advisor. I would recommend meeting with them during the application period so that you have an idea of if it is a good option for you to go on one of these programs, also which classes you should take before going abroad. In this case, which classes you should take in fall 2024 before you go abroad in winter 2025. Once you're accepted into the program, you would need to meet with your Spanish faculty advisor again to talk about course approvals and equivalencies. So which are at the 300 and which courses are at the 400 level. This is not provided by CGIS. And alternatively, if, for example, you've already fulfilled most of your 300 or 400 level requirements for your Spanish major and minor and only need to take 3 additional classes, you could still use those other 2 classes, for example, to count towards your distribution requirements or maybe other major minor requirements. In that case, you would still need to meet with with your academic advisor or the department advisor for that other major minor so that they do the course approvals and equivalencies. Students who go on a CGIS program, or I should say LSA students who go on a CGIS program, get in-residence credit. That means that you will get a letter grade for the courses that you take abroad, and that letter grade will count towards your GPA. So another important thing about going abroad, of course, is the financial aspect. Students who are eligible for financial aid get to apply for it, to apply your financial aid to go abroad. If you'd like to learn more about it, you can reach out to the financial aid office at finaid.abroad@umich.edu. For the programs, once the budget sheets are posted, so currently winter 2025 budget sheets are not available yet. That is as of April 19th, but we're hoping that sometime in May or June, the budget sheets will be posted on our brochures. Once that is available, you can use that budget sheet to complete the financial aid estimate, and you can send it to the Office of Financial Aid to get an idea of how much you would be receiving for your study abroad experience. The actual application for financial aid is done after you've been accepted to the program, not before. So that's why we highly encourage you to reach out to financial aid to get an estimate from them during the application period. The other option is for students who are eligible for financial aid. You get to apply, and you are an LSA student, you get to apply to the LSA Study Abroad Scholarship. These applications open in early to mid-October and close in late October for winter 2025. So please make sure to visit their website to get the information. If you want to reach out to the LSA Scholarship Office, you can reach out to them at lsa scholarships@umich.edu. There's other scholarships that are available, so you can go to the CG's website, check out these options and offerings, or if you have this slideshow, you'll be able to click on this link and see different scholarships. It can be federal scholarships, scholarships through the provider, so one of those companies that I was mentioning, IES, CIE, IFSA. Or you can alternatively also opt for applying for other UM unit grants or grants through other UM departments. Finally, here is the links to the CG's website and advising, so please check this out. There is a lot of useful information. It also shows you how to schedule an appointment with a CG's advisor. So please check out our website, learn more about the programs, visit mCompass to check the brochures and get more details. Thank you so much for coming, and do you have any questions?